When people talk about Ghostbusters, they usually remember the jokes, the characters, and the iconic ghosts. But very few people know how much creativity and hard work went into bringing those moments to life. Released in 1984, Ghostbusters arrived at a time when computers weren't making movie magic yet. Every ghost, explosion, and glowing beam had to be created by hand, and in this video, we'll take a closer look behind the scenes and discover how practical effects artists turned simple materials into some of the most iconic visuals. So without wasting any second, let's jump into our very first scene. When you hear the name Ghostbusters, one image instantly pops into your mind. That green, slimy, floating ghost that's funny, creepy, and unforgettable at the same time. Slimer wasn't just another movie monster. He was a masterpiece of 1980s practical effects. At a time when CGI didn't even exist in the way we know it today, Slimer was created without using a single computer. What we see on screen is the result of clever camera work, puppetry, real slime, and optical effects. Pure movie magic. In this movie, the green slime ghost, later known as Slimer, was originally called Onion Head during production. The character was designed by special effects artist Steve Johnson, who spent nearly 6 months refining the look. Director Ivan Reitman wanted Slimer to feel cartoonish and mischievous, so his facial expressions were exaggerated and playful rather than terrifying. Slimer's physical form was created using a foam rubber suit combined with puppetry worn by a real performer. Inside the costume was actor Mark Brian Wilson, whose lower body was wrapped in black fabric, so it could be removed later during compositing. Slimer's eyes, mouth, and tongue were controlled by off-camera puppeteers using cables, levers, and mechanical rigs. These puppeteers were all black and performed against a black background. Using optical compositing, the filmmakers were able to isolate only the ghost and place him into live-action scenes. Slimer wasn't actually flying. The illusion of movement was created through smart camera angles, forced perspective, and precise framing. Most of Slimer's shots were filmed separately and then combined with the actors' performances, using optical printing. Without CGI, Ghostbusters brought Slimer to life through practical effects, puppetry, camera tricks, and optical compositing, creating a character that remains legendary in VFX history even today. In the film's climax, a massive white, teddy bear-like marshmallow giant towers over New York City, making the entire city feel tiny in comparison. This character is the iconic Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and despite how unreal it looks, this scene was created almost entirely using practical effects. There's no CGI here. Instead, the filmmakers relied on real suits, miniature city models, matte paintings, and optical compositing. Stay Puft was portrayed by a performer wearing a massive foam and latex costume. The suit had 2 layers, a soft outer marshmallow texture and an inner fire-resistant layer, since several scenes involved flames and explosions. The biggest secret behind making Stay Puft feel gigantic was the use of miniature New York City sets. The VFX team built detailed scale models of city streets, sidewalks, streetlights, storefronts, windows, cars, and even traffic signals, all handcrafted with incredible attention to detail. These miniature buildings were made from foam, wood, plastic sheets, and thermocol, then carefully painted with weathering, cracks, and dirt, so they would look realistic even in close-up shots. Every model was designed to hold up under cinematic scrutiny. By placing the camera at low angles and using close-up perspectives, the small models appeared massive, while the performer in the suit looked truly enormous. These shots were later combined with matte paintings and live-action footage, using optical compositing, creating the illusion that New York City was being crushed under Stay Puft's feet. Whenever you see Stay Puft walking through the streets, he's actually stepping over tiny miniature buildings and toy-scale cars. Carefully chosen camera angles made these small objects appear life-sized, selling the illusion perfectly. Before the marshmallow chaos begins, the movie introduces us to Spook Central, the building at 55 Central Park West. In real life, it's a normal New York apartment building, but in the film, it needed to feel like an ancient, supernatural temple where Gozer's ritual takes place. Shooting the real building wasn't enough, so the production team combined practical effects, detailed miniature models, matte paintings, and optical compositing to transform it into something truly ominous. The BTS footage you're seeing shows the highly detailed miniature model built specifically for the climax. Artists added sculpted stone panels, symbols, demonic designs, and Gozer's rooftop temple. These details were first sculpted in clay, then cast into solid materials, so they would look realistic even in close-up shots. Matte paintings were used to extend the building upward, making it appear taller, darker, and more threatening. Real footage of the New York building was merged with miniature rooftop shots using optical effects because, at that time, CGI was practically non-existent. Beyond Slimer and Stay Puft, the film also introduced us to the terrifying terror dogs, Zool and Vince Clortho. Bringing these creatures to life was a massive technical challenge in the early 1980s. Since CGI wasn't an option, the filmmakers relied on advanced animatronics and puppetry. For close-up shots and actor interactions, full-size articulated animatronic puppets were built. These creatures featured blinking eyes, snarling lips, and movable heads and facial parts. Each puppet required 5 to 6 puppeteers, all working together using mechanical rigs and remote controls. Their coordination allowed the terror dogs to react naturally alongside the actors, making the performances feel real and threatening on screen. One of the most memorable and humorous moments in Ghostbusters is the low-budget TV commercial, where Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, and Egon Spengler come together to advertise their brand new ghost-busting business. Standing awkwardly in front of the camera, the trio enthusiastically tells the audience that if something strange is happening in their neighborhood, they should call the Ghostbusters. On screen, the scene works as a quick comedy beat, but behind the scenes, it perfectly captures the chaotic and quirky spirit of the Ghostbusters as a startup business. The commercial was intentionally designed to look cheap, stiff, and slightly awkward, almost like a badly produced local TV ad, which made it even funnier. Behind-the-scenes footage and official outtakes reveal that filming this sequence was filled with laughter and improvisation. Director Ivan Reitman can be seen standing just behind the camera, constantly guiding the actors and encouraging them to play with their delivery. Multiple takes were shot not because of mistakes, but because each version had a different comic flavor. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis repeatedly rehearsed their lines, often breaking character to joke around or try new expressions. Bill Murray, in particular, improvised subtle facial reactions and pauses, adding an extra layer of awkward humor that made the commercial feel more natural and believable. The BTS clips show what looks like a simple gag on screen is actually the result of careful timing, repeated takes, and the cast's natural chemistry. At the time, computer-generated effects were almost non-existent, so the filmmakers had to rely on pure creativity and old-school visual effects techniques. During filming, the neutrino wand had a small flashing light bulb attached to its tip. This gave the camera a clear visual reference point, showing exactly where the energy beam would later be added. Once filming was complete, the raw footage was sent to the VFX studio, where artists used optical printers and hand-drawn animation to create the proton streams frame by frame. These beams were deliberately designed not to look like straight laser lines. Instead, they were given a wavy, rope-like motion, making the energy feel unstable and dangerous, as if it could explode at any moment. Each proton stream consisted of multiple animation layers, a bright orange core surrounded by blue electric sparks, glowing highlights, and a smoky halo of light. Every single layer was hand-drawn, exposed onto film, and carefully composited with the live-action footage using optical techniques. This means that even a short shot of proton beam required dozens of hours of painstaking frame-by-frame work. No computers, no digital shortcuts, just film reels, paint, light tables, and optical machines. Movies like Ghostbusters remind us that creativity doesn't always need technology. Sometimes it just needs imagination. And if you enjoy this behind-the-scenes breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more movie stories and filmmaking secrets. Your support really helps the channel grow, and it allows us to keep exploring the magic behind classic films. Thanks for watching.